Welcome to the Market Snapshot. This is Danfrench with Nova Home Loans. I'm here today with my co-host, Chakits Krulsawat from Simply Vegas. What's going on today, Chuck?
Nothing much. I'm about to sit this off.
Also, we have a special guest in here, John Sanders from Chicago Title. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Hey, are you related to Adam Sandler?
No, I'm not.
Doug, how you doing today, Doug?
Well, aside from that messed up intro,
No.
I'm doing okay.
You're doing fine, Doug.
Hey, you're fired.
What's going on today? Let's do some news and events. What's going on today, Chuck? You got any news and events for me?
Yeah, the federal housing, well, actually the federal building.
Yeah.
I guess they were awarded and honored for, I guess, their efficiency on the building. It's
All
actually
right.
pretty interesting.
Well, I got some news and events. Lake Las Vegas,
Mhm.
they're doing a show every Saturday, and this is going to be going on till October. And yeah, you hear that? I told you about a little bit about some wine, a little Baselli. You know what I'm saying? Also, we have other things going on. Container Park. We're talking about maybe going down to Container Park.
Oh, are we?
Yeah.
What's down there?
Well, we might be doing a few shows. I guess they have a new studio down there.
Yeah.
And it's open. And
Mhm.
what's good about it is that you have a lot of sunshine that would come in. People can see you. Maybe you can correlate with some of the people out there.
Hey, let me ask you this.
Huh.
Are you going to be able to perform when people are looking at you?
I don't know. I think I'm going to be a little shaky. My knees are going to start to crack a little
Start
bit.
buckling. But, I mean, people could see us through the studio right here as well.
Yeah, right. We're second level.
Okay.
Unless you're in an airplane, I don't think you're going to see anything. Also, wanted to tell you that Container Park, you know, when you go down there, it has some friendly outdoor shopping, dining, entertainment attraction. There's other things that go on. I actually went down there just to check it out.
Yeah.
They got a nice concert going down there. This guy was a country singer. I'm not big on country, but I'll tell you that it was a nice environment.
Yeah.
And if you're looking to go have some fun on a Sunday where the weather looks really
Yeah.
good outside, go down there and check it out.
I do want to mention it is like a family-oriented place too as well. I mean, there's a lot of kids running around. They got a park in the center too,
In the
right?
daytime, not at
Yeah.
night.
No, that's true.
The freaks come out at night down
The
there.
freaks come out at night.
Also, we have a CFPB update.
Mhm.
Here's one thing I wanted to tell you is that we've talked about the loan estimate, okay? And, you know, there's services and fees for such services that require a lender to be disclosed on the loan estimate, which is it's going to replace the new TILA, and it's basically a TILA and RESPA guideline that's going to come out. It's going to be a new form that's
Yeah.
going to come out on August 1st. Now, what the CFPB has said is that it is clear that the buyer or the borrower has got to be disclosed all fees on this. They were thinking that maybe some of these fees would not be included. Some fees such as,
Why wouldn't it though?
well, because it's a new form, and
Yeah.
they always want to look at the idea that, hey, well, you know, do these new forms, can we get around some of these things, disclosing some of these fees? And no, I mean, the CFPB came in and said, you know what, you're going to have to disclose these things.
And are you guys already all set up and prepared for August 1st?
Nova Home Loans has already got its whole protocol as far as how we're going to disclose this. We've been working on this for 2 to 3 months as well. I mean, what we do is we're very compliance oriented. So I'll tell you, our company has always been ahead of the curve.
Wow.
And I'm going to tell you that that's a good thing. That's one of the reasons why I work there is because I'm not ever in a position where I feel like we're not going to have something in place, especially with big changes like this.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and go right into the housing rundown. You ready for the rundown?
I'm always ready. Let's crack it
Let's
up.
do the rundown. We're going to go over housing market statistics, interest rates
market
trending.
rundown.
We're going to talk to John Sanders from Chicago Title. Importance of homesteading your home, right, Chuck? We're going to
That's
talk
correct.
about
That's-
that. Innovation on green technology, and we always finish it off with the lender versus realtor face-off. If you guys have any questions outside studio, you can call us at 702-257-5396. You can also schedule a 30-minute consultation with us, 781-NOVA, that's 6682. And if you want to ask me a question, you can go to my Twitter account at 781-NOVA, or we put together a new website, 781nova.com. Chuck, tell us about that.
That's right. Hey, really quickly, just to let all the listeners know out there, we are also filming every single episode. So we have a full production crew in here. So if you guys miss any episodes, you guys can go to 781nova.com and, you know, view our archives of our past shows. Also, we have Take Notes.
Mm-hmm.
It has a library of educational videos
Okay.
with the real estate professionals out there. The questions that you may have if you're a first-time home buyer, seller, or even an investor. Okay?
Very good, Chuck. We're also going to give away some free things here at this show only.
Free.
I'm only going to give out a couple of things here, but we're going to go over free at the end of the show. What we're going to give away is if anybody out there calls into this show and you proceed on getting a loan or getting a home through Chakits, we're going to give a free appraisal.
Free?
And a free home inspection.
Whoa, you said through me. Does that mean I got to pay for everything? Are you going to cut half of the cost?
I don't know what you're paying it, but you're going to have to pay something. You better stand out in the corner.
Hey, it should be we.
I need to pay for a home inspection. Also, we're going to give away a free lunch for two to PF Chang's. So if you have any questions regarding anything, real estate or financing, give us a call inside studio, 702-257-5396. Chuck, what's going on with the housing market?
Housing market, are you guys ready? This is where we bring it play by play, week to week. We're going to start off with townhomes. Townhomes has declined by half a point.
Okay.
Total inventory, 675 townhomes currently listed on the multiple listing service. Traditional sales has increased by 1% at 82% market share. Short sales has declined by 1% at 13% market shares. Bank-owned properties yield at a 5% market share. Overall inventory has increased by 5.8%. A total inventory, 10,525 properties currently listed on the MLS, not including for sale by owners, new home sales. So we have a total of about 30,000 properties currently listed on the market.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. Now, the traditional sales has increased by 1% at 87% of market share. Short sales has declined by a half a point at 9.4% of market share. And bank-owned properties has yielded at 4% of market shares. Okay?
Question for you.
Yeah,
so
go
if
ahead.
you look at the whole overall picture, all right, how many months do we have, let's say, on reserve for somebody that's going to buy a home? Is it 3, 6?
We have about an 8-month supply.
8-month supply. Okay.
Now, here's the thing. 681 properties sold last week, actually increased in sales by 7.8%.
Wow.
Now, here's the thing. All this stats is very important because you want to know what's going on week by week because this is going to help you strategically buy a property. Now, also, we have a new thing on 781nova.com. We put this up weekly, every Saturdays, and a lot of investors are starting to go to our site because this information is very valuable. Now, the inventory for the rental properties throughout the whole Las Vegas Valley had declined by 5.5% because of the numbers of lease agreements have increased by 21.5%.
All right.
What's going on with the
interest rates?
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about it. Interest rates finished the week better.
All right. Finally.
4 weeks in a row, I'm like, worse. I almost didn't want to put it out there last week. I was like, I'm not going to say anything. So let me tell you this. Mortgage bond prices finished the week higher, which pushed mortgage rates, interest rates lower. All right. Most of the weakness came early in the week. This was offset by stronger than expected data that morning. New home sales were 517 versus the expected 510. Weekly jobless claims came in higher than expected at 282 versus 270, which that really had a huge impact on why rates were lower. Primarily, the gross domestic product fell about 0.7% as expected. This was not rate friendly, but again, mortgage interest rates finished the week better, approximately 1/4 of a discount point better. So I'm telling you right now, if you have not looked at the idea of refinancing your home, do it now. Because
so now's the time to look into it.
Now's the time to do it. Rates and pricing got better this week. And I'm going to tell you that if you're in a kind of on the fence or in a standstill, should I go out and should I look at, purchasing a home and start making offers? Should I look at refinancing my home? You should do it right now.
And I'm sure sometimes people call in, and it just doesn't make sense, right? Sometimes
it does. But here's the thing. Usually it's a dependent on how much the clients want to save or how much they want to get back on return of the refinance. Or if it's a purchase, we're going to proceed and move forward. But on the refinance side of it, it really has to make sense to them, and it has to make sense for them for the amount of money they're trying to save on their monthly payment and what the cost is. Really, there's not a lot of cost if you're talking about VA or conventional, but what is the cost to get that refinance done?
Gotcha.
And a lot of times, again, on those programs, I can add the cost back into the loan amount. So again, it's very important you look at that idea. If you want to give us a free consultation or you want a free consultation outside studio, 781-6682. That's 781-NOVA. Let's go over and talk to John Sanders from Chicago Title. What's going on, John?
Not much. It's pretty interesting watching you guys do your show this morning.
All right, man. So tell us about yourself. How'd you get into this?
So actually, I came to Las Vegas in 2001. I was actually recruited out here to be the golf pro at Anthem Country Club.
Golf pro.
I could have used him last night.
Oh wow.
I was hitting golf balls all over the park.
Yeah, generally we see a lot of people hitting golf balls all over the place. Rarely are they.
I think I went through like 4 boxes of balls. I couldn't find any ball that I hit. I was like, I knew I hit it, but it went somewhere.
So what that cost you, like $48 in balls?
I don't know.
That's an expensive practice round. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Might want to take up bowling instead of golf.
John, we can maybe hire.
Well,
you
yeah,
on the
you get your ball back.
So yeah, I came out here from New York, originally from Northern California, but some of the members at the club said, you really need to entertain getting out of the golf business, getting a real job. You'll work half as much, enjoy yourself twice as much.
Right.
And Chicago Title was kind enough to bring me on board. I've been there about 8 years now.
Wow.
And
8
love
years
it.
is a long time.
For me, I got into the business essentially when it was going down.
Perfect timing.
When I came on board, there were 13 offices, roughly 200 employees, and at the bottom we had 2 offices and 29 employees.
Wow.
So, but we've built it back up. You guys have done an amazing job in both segments of helping our market along, and we're in a really strong market right now.
Yeah,
Happy to be where we are.
Perfect. So, when you look at title, why does somebody need title insurance? If you're out there and you're buying a home or thinking about buying a home, you're going to come into using a title company.
Mm-hmm.
Why does somebody need title insurance?
It's a question that is asked quite a bit, and it's one of those things that until you educate yourself, you really don't know. But what I tell people is you're insuring the largest purchase that you're ever going to make in your lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And with most insurance, you don't need it until you need it, right?
Gotcha.
But title protects your property, proves that you're the legal owner of that property. And it's just protecting you, making sure that should somebody come along and say, hey, Chakits, I have an interest in your property, and before you can sell it, you need to make me whole.
That makes sense. So let's just clarify this. It's not to insure your home. It's to insure the title of the property.
Any type of liens, mechanic liens, things like that, right?
Exactly. We're not talking home warranty insurance.
Right.
And another thing that people are a little concerned about with title insurance is they think that it's a payment that's made monthly or yearly. It's one time. You do it only when you purchase your home. Now, if you refinance your home, then there's title again.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a monthly fee. It's just a one-time deal.
But if you're also refinancing your home, there's less title fees involved as well.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So
when you refinance, potentially could give you less of your title insurance. The fact that you're already an owner, a title company
Correct.
already did a search on that home, has cleaned it. Everything is on the up and up.
So if somebody has title insurance, when would they actually use it?
So there's many different ways, but for a homeowner, there's a few that are the most common. So somebody comes to you and says, hey, I was the owner previous to you, and I have an ownership stake in this that wasn't settled when you purchased. Or another big one would be divorce, right? So you could have a situation where a husband and wife get divorced. Maybe there's some shady shenanigans that go on that kind of circumvent the normal process. And all of a sudden the husband or the wife says, hey, wait a minute, I didn't want to participate in the selling of that property. Those could be big ones. Another one that is really big is, say you put a pool in your backyard, right? And you secure a loan on your home to pay for the pool. Maybe you stop paying the pool contractor, right? And then essentially walk away. Maybe you foreclose, whatever the case might be. Well, the pool builder could put a lien against your home.
Gotcha.
Lots of people talking about liens, HOA, liens, sewer tax, whatever.
Right.
But specific to the homeowner and the pool,
right,
they want to be made whole. The pool builder wants to be made whole. So that's what.
Well, that makes sense. Now, talking about that, I actually had where me and my wife we purchased a property. Okay, and it was actually a short sale. And after we closed it, I get a letter from the city, a lien for $10,000. The first thing I did was, in panic mode, I called the title company and said, hey, here you go. Here's the letter I got. They actually took care of it right away. I didn't have to worry about it. It was one of the greatest things.
Yeah. And truly, those are success stories, not from the standpoint that we want claims made against our
Yeah.
company. But absolutely, the reason we issue title insurance is to protect you.
Yeah.
I had a client give me a call. He was representing a family member,
Uh-huh.
and the family member was ready to sell, and he gave me a call. He ran a report with us that we have, and there was a lien against a property, but
Yeah.
it wasn't hers. It
Yeah.
was $50,000 lien against
Wow.
this property,
Wow.
and he was in panic mode. He's like,
Mhm.
"Where'd this come from? I have no idea." We took care of it. There were no issues, but man, that's a scary notice, right? When you
Yeah.
get a lien.
And
against
when
your
I
home.
think what really plays a big part here is because remember, when we're talking about John Doe, there's probably like a million John Does out there. So we need to make sure it's
So when you go through the process of, title and chain of title
Mhm.
to find these liens,
Mhm.
okay, what is the process for that? I mean, is it something you guys go through a protocol? Hey, we do this, then we do this, and then we finally end up with the result.
Yeah, so we have searchers at what we call our CPF plant, and they're searching. They're outstanding at what they do. We
Mhm.
put a lot of faith and trust in them to do it. But essentially, we're searching the chain of title. We're looking for history of ownership on the property. Also looking for tax records, judgments. We do a name search.
yeah.
We're looking for liens. And then sometimes we even have our own, we have an inspector that cruises out to the property. They verify lot size, any improvements that are made to the home, any easements.
Mhm.
Maybe somebody made an improvement to the home and they have an addition to the side of the house that infringes on the other owner's property.
Right.
Well, now we have an
Yeah.
issue. We're not gonna insure something like that. That's a pretty big issue.
Talking about that, for the listeners out there that's actually buying a property, if that is a concern to them, you have a right to hire a land survey to go out there during your due diligence period. So keep that in mind.
Absolutely. Yep. So once we're satisfied that we're comfortable insuring this property, we issue a commitment to insure, stating the conditions at which we will insure the property.
Mhm.
The buyer and seller of the mortgage can proceed with the closing of the transaction. And then if there are any issues, they can clean those up and come back to us.
So if you look at what types of title insurance policies are there, you have many facets of.
Yeah,
of
I
that.
mean, there's too many to list. There's, whether it's residential property, commercial property, all kinds of different stuff. But it's essentially when we're speaking residential, there's the homeowner's policy, and that's the basic
Right.
policy that covers the homeowner. And one little catch here is that obviously if you're getting a loan, there's going to be two policies. There's going to be the homeowner's policy. There's also going to be the lender's
Lender's
policy
policy. Mhm.
because not only is the lender, not only does the homeowner want to be protected, but the lender
yeah.
wants to be
That's right.
protected.
Mhm.
Now, because you're combining those two policies, there's a discount on those. So it's beneficial to the home buyer, no doubt. And there's no way of getting around the lender's policy.
Correct. So if you look at the, like you said, the pressing concerns,
Mhm.
all right, to title with the real estate market today, how is these concerns being addressed with Chicago Title and yourself? I mean, we've seen some stuff out there that's gone on, and what do you do to, handle that situations that come up?
Well, so we have an amazing team, as I mentioned before. We're the largest title insurer in the nation. We're surrounded by amazing people that know what's going on constantly. We're in, education, we're in training,
Mm-hmm.
and we're always trying to make sure that we're ahead of the curve with where our industry is going.
Mhm.
Our headquarters is back in Jacksonville, Florida, and they're constantly sending us where they think the market's going, how we need to position ourselves.
So they're giving you updates and things,
Yep,
right? Okay.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Mhm.
And when you go to title, if you're getting a loan, owner's policy is typically paid by the seller,
Mhm.
and the lender's policy is typically paid by the buyer.
Right.
So if you're out there and you're listening and you don't know what's involved, well, if you get to that point, at least you understand that that's normally how it goes. It's not always that case, but typically I'm going to say 80 to 90% of the time, that's how those go.
Yeah. And it's a really good point too, for the listeners out there. The biggest thing is to make sure that your lender and your agent are educating you through the process.
That's
And
exactly
you guys
right.
are fantastic at what you do, but you would be amazed at how many times people get into our office to sign documents, whether it's a refinance or it's a purchase,
Mhm.
and they're asking us questions that all great loan officers, all great realtors would have educated them well
Right.
in advance of the signing of the documents.
And that's where it's important because when you receive that HUD, like when I receive it,
Mhm.
the first thing I look at, who's paying for what and how this deal was negotiated, because
Exactly.
I want to make sure that fee was not passed on to my buyer, and that's very crucial.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm going to tell you that most real estate agents, when they get into a contract, like the seller agent or the listing agent, they typically look at the idea that the client is going to use their title company. But does a client have the ability to choose their own title company if they want to?
Yes. Great questions, kind of a gray area, but there's absolutely the ability for clients to choose where they go. Now, you have to remember there's a client on the other end of the transaction as well. And that's where many times it falls back on the agents. What I tell my clients, or what we talk about, is, real estate is all about a team. If you're an agent,
It's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, you have a lender that is part of your team. You might have home warranty that's part of your team, and title might be part of your team.
Right.
And the reason they're part of your team is because they have proven time after time to get deals closed, to alert you when there are issues of a transaction. And when a client comes to you, when a home buyer comes to you, they are trusting you explicitly with all of the transaction, right? So you may say, hey, John, or hey, buyer, we want you to go to Chicago Title, and these are the reasons why. But you have to be careful with CFPB regulations.
I want to elaborate on that, what you just said, Dan, because here's the thing. When we work with buyers, and, we always put on the contract that, hey, we're giving the seller to use any title company they choose to. And one of the reasons why we do that is that, we want to leverage ourselves out, and we want to have the opportunity to actually get our, offer accepted. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter, because title insurance is basically all the same throughout the whole thing. But I mean, the cost is, I noticed from title to title company, it's pretty much the same. It's not that much more.
Well, so we're regulated by the Department of Insurance.
Yeah.
We have to file our fees, and we can't deviate from those fees, not even a penny. If our fees are incorrect based on what we have filed with the Department of Insurance, we are subject to fines. Escrow officers can, potentially lose jobs.
Yeah.
So we have to charge what we charge.
Yeah, and it's very important too. I think when you have the final numbers, you get the final HUD, which that's what the form we're using now, has got to go to title, and it's got to match identically, because you don't want to have any numbers that are off. And here's the other thing. When a client goes down there and they're looking, well, what is my overall fees? What is the process you take, or your company takes, to say, you know what, I want that client needs to get a call from us to schedule an appointment to get them to come down and sign documents? Is there a certain process for that? Because I think a lot of people get uncertain, especially new home buyers, about what is the process of the title company contacting me? Is it the real estate agent that contacts me? How does that work?
So what we generally do, or what the escrow officers try to do, is they only want to communicate with the home buyer when it's allowed by the agent. So we never want to be in a position where the agent isn't the priority.
Yeah.
So if Chakits gives us if he gives us permission to reach out to the client, then we'll do so. So under your example, we have the numbers, we have the HUD, we send it to Chakits. Chakits reviews it. We say, is everything good? You say, yeah, it's absolutely okay. Great. We're going to schedule a signing with your client now. Is that okay? Absolutely. So then we schedule the appointment, and then we'll give Chakits a call or an email back, and we'll say, okay, we've scheduled your buyers or your sellers.
Hey, that sounds like I don't go to the signings.
No. So we would say, okay, hey, it's scheduled Tuesday at 11 o'clock. We look forward to having you in the office.
Yeah.
Let's say we're under a time frame. Okay. Let's say you have to have documents signed that day. You also have the ability to send out a notary after hours to make sure that happens that specific day. Because as a lender, if you're under a time frame and you need to have this closed, let's say the next day in fund, then you need to have a notary. We've had somebody on the East Coast that we've had a notary go out there. You have to account for a couple of days, but you know what? You'll get that notary out there, and we can still get those documents back. That's very important, right? You guys have that in place.
Absolutely. One of the strongest things that we have is the fact that, because we're a nationwide company, we have offices all over the country. But on a local level, I'm a notary, and it comes in handy every once in a while. As you say, I've signed people at the Bellagio. I've signed people in Boulder City. I've been all over the place, because there's at the end of the transaction, that timing is crucial. get your docs, you need somebody to sign, because we've all been in the situation where that person has moved out this way. The moving van is loaded. It's waiting. They got to, sign. They need to fund. We need to record. We need to get in. Maybe a rate lock is passed. All kinds of different things.
A lot of moving parts. We want to thank John Sanders coming out from Chicago Title. This is Dan French with the Market Snapshot. We'll be right back.